Chosen one. This message is not just a coincidence. It is a divine revelation, straight from the throne room of heaven. It's a special moment that God has orchestrated just for you. This is a call for you to step away from the noise and distractions of the world, to find a place of quiet, and to listen attentively for His voice. In the stillness, He is ready to speak directly to you. God's invitation is not for something that will be showcased publicly, nor is it about fame or recognition. This is about something much deeper, about establishing a personal connection, a relationship with Him that will guide and strengthen you for the path ahead. The words you will hear are meant to align your heart and spirit with His purpose for your life, transforming you from the inside out. Understand that in God's kingdom, some revelations are meant to be shared in private. The world's noise and distractions can drown out His voice, but when you quiet your spirit and open your heart, you invite Him to speak into your life. It is in these private moments that God refines and prepares His children for their divine assignments. This moment of stillness is not one to be taken lightly. It's in this space where you will receive the clarity and wisdom needed to move forward. So, chosen one, take a deep breath and tune into this sacred time. Open your heart to the quiet whispers of God, knowing that in this stillness, He is preparing you for something greater. Chosen one. Throughout Scripture, you'll see a consistent pattern. God has often called His chosen ones into times of separation and isolation before revealing His purpose. Take, for example, figures like Abraham, Moses, and even the disciples of Jesus. These individuals were set apart, not because they were rejected, but because they were being positioned for a deeper revelation of their divine calling. Each time, God's decision to separate them from the crowd wasn't a punishment. It was His way of preparing them for the sacred task that lay ahead. In fact, isolation has always been a part of God's pattern for bringing clarity to His people. When you look at Abraham, he was called away from his family and his land, leaving behind everything familiar. This separation wasn't meant to distance him from love or community, but rather to bring him closer to the voice of God. Moses, too, spent years in the wilderness before God revealed his calling at the burning bush. Even Jesus, before beginning his ministry, withdrew to the wilderness to fast and pray, isolated from the noise of the world. You too might be feeling the weight of separation or isolation in your life. But know this: it is not because God has forgotten you, nor is it a rejection. It is a divine positioning, a preparation to receive His voice and His purpose in a way that you wouldn't be able to if you were surrounded by the noise and distractions of the world. This season of privacy is not one of loneliness, but a sacred moment where you can hear God more clearly than ever before. God often calls His children to be alone before revealing His plans because it helps them focus, tune out the distractions, and deepen their understanding. When you are alone, you are able to hear His voice without interference. It is in these moments that God refines you, shaping you into the vessel that He intends for you to be. Without the outside world's influence, God can work in your life more directly, molding your character, building your spiritual muscles, and preparing you to carry the weight of His calling. This separation also creates space for reflection. In the quiet, you are able to look inward and discern what God is doing in your life. You can start to understand how the trials, challenges, and seasons of waiting have shaped you. You have been prepared, chosen, and uniquely equipped to fulfill a higher purpose. And in this time of solitude, the pieces begin to come together. It is in the quiet, in the private moments with God, that you can fully embrace your divine purpose. And when it comes to hearing God's voice, you must understand that it is not always loud and thunderous. God's voice is often gentle, soft, and tender. It's the still, small whisper, the quiet tug on your heart that leads you to clarity. To hear that voice, you need to be still. The noise of the world, its distractions, demands, and rapid pace can drown out His whispers. That's why this time of isolation is necessary. It gives you the opportunity to slow down, listen carefully, and absorb the direction God is providing for your life. Consider the difference between the world's noise and the stillness of God's voice. The world shouts at you from every direction, constantly pulling you in different directions, offering conflicting messages and demanding immediate action. But God doesn't operate in that space. His voice isn't one that demands haste or confusion. His revelation happens in the quiet moments, in the stillness of your soul, and in the sacred space He has carved out for you. As you embrace this period of isolation, recognize it as a time of deep spiritual preparation. God has removed the distractions, not to punish you, but to draw you closer to Him. He's carving out space for you to truly hear and understand His voice, to discern His plans for your life, and to find peace in knowing that you are on the path He has set for you. And remember, it is in these moments of privacy that God's greatest revelations are often made clear. You may feel like you are alone, but know that you are not abandoned. God is right there with you, preparing you for the next phase of your journey. So, chosen one, as you experience this period of separation, don't see it as something to be feared or resented. See it as a sacred opportunity to connect deeply with God, to hear His voice clearly, and to prepare for the amazing work He is about to do in and through you. Trust that this season of isolation is not a punishment, but a necessary part of the divine plan that will lead you into your calling. Chosen one, as you move forward in your spiritual walk, it's important to understand the concept of divine urgency. God's urgency does not come to scare or pressure you. It's a call to awaken your spirit to something vital. It's an invitation, not a demand. It's not an urgent scramble for you to act out of fear, but a beckoning that encourages you to open your heart and receive what God is revealing to you in the present moment. When God speaks with urgency, it brings clarity. It's not the kind of anxiety-driven urgency that comes from external sources, whether from people or from life's circumstances. No, the urgency of God's voice is grounded in peace and clarity. It's not a message to overwhelm you with stress, but to stir your heart into recognition of what He is doing right now. It's the urgent yet calm knowing that something significant is happening, and it's your time to respond. This divine urgency doesn't carry the weight of panic. It carries the promise of opportunity. It is an invitation to align with what God is already doing and to move with the flow of His plans. It's not about rushing, but about recognizing that in this moment, something crucial is unfolding that requires your participation. You have been chosen to be part of it, and God is calling you to be alert and attentive to His voice in this time of urgency. The urgency you may feel right now, chosen one, is not one of panic or fear. It is an invitation to seize the moment, to step into what is being offered to you in the now. God's urgency asks you to pay attention, to discern, and to act when the time is right. It's a time to let go of hesitation and trust that what He is asking of you is divinely ordained. There is no need to rush into something without understanding it, but rather, you are being called to move with confidence in God's guidance and to trust that He will make His will clear in His perfect timing. Reflect on Hebrews 3:15, which says, "Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your heart." This scripture is a reminder that the urgency of God's voice is not about tomorrow, but about today. Each day carries eternal significance, and in each moment, you are being given an opportunity to respond to God's calling. It's not just about what you will do in the future, but what you are being asked to do right now, in this season. When God speaks, He is offering a window of opportunity that, if missed, can be lost. But when you choose to listen, respond, and align yourself with His divine purpose, you unlock blessings that can only be accessed by responding in real time. God's timing is always perfect. You may not always understand the timing of certain events or circumstances, but you can trust that everything is being perfectly orchestrated by His hands. Even when things seem uncertain on the outside, even when you don't have all the answers, you can rest assured that God's timing is always perfect for your life and your purpose. It's not just about timing in the external world, It's about the alignment of your heart with God's will for your life. When that alignment happens, everything else falls into place. Chosen one, the urgency you feel now is not an accident, nor is it a call to fear. It's a call to attention, a reminder that the time has come for you to step into the fullness of what God has been preparing for you. His invitation to you is a chance to recognize and embrace what is unfolding before you. It's your moment to respond and to trust that God's plan is not only unfolding at this moment, but has been preparing you for this very time. His divine timing will always ensure that you walk into your destiny at exactly the right time. As you hear His voice calling you today, do not harden your heart. Instead, choose to open yourself up, to listen, and to walk with Him in the path He has set before you. Every moment carries eternal significance, and you are being called to move forward, trusting that God's perfect timing will guide you to your destiny. Before God elevates anyone, He first prepares them. The preparation process is often slow, private, and deeply personal, one that teaches lessons through quiet moments, free from the noise of the world. During these times, the chosen one may not understand the full purpose of their isolation, but they can trust that God is laying the groundwork for their future success. It is not a season of idleness or abandonment, but a season of hidden growth that shapes their heart and spirit. God's method of preparation isn't flashy. It's not a public spectacle, but rather a series of private moments where the chosen one learns essential qualities like patience, trust, and obedience. These traits are built quietly, often without immediate reward or recognition. It's easy to grow frustrated in such times, to wonder why the blessings and breakthroughs seem delayed. But it is in these quiet seasons that God is equipping you for what's ahead. In the privacy of these moments, God instills the tools and wisdom necessary to carry the weight of the purpose He is preparing for you. Just like Elijah in the cave or Moses in the wilderness, the chosen one might feel as though they're hidden from the world. But in reality, this period is vital. God is shaping the heart and mind, developing spiritual resilience that will sustain the chosen one when their calling is eventually revealed publicly. Elijah's time in the cave was not a punishment. It was where he learned to hear God's whisper. Moses' time in the wilderness was not a delay. It was his preparation to lead an entire nation. Similarly, the chosen one's time of quiet preparation is not a delay, but an essential period of strengthening, testing, and refining. It's the foundation upon which everything will rest when the time comes to step into the calling. This process, though often uncomfortable, leads to deeper reliance on God. It is in these private spaces that the chosen one learns to surrender their plans, desires, and expectations to God. They are stripped of false illusions, pride, and external distractions, and they are left with only one thing: God. This is where the transformation happens, not in the limelight, but in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. It is in this silence that true spiritual growth occurs. Over time, this period of private preparation shifts the chosen one's reliance from seeking outer validation to understanding their inner calling. The confidence that God is placing within them isn't rooted in the applause or approval of others. It's built in the stillness of their hearts, in their trust in God's plan, and in their commitment to following His lead. The public acknowledgement of their calling will come, but it will not be based on their need for recognition. It will be the result of their unwavering faith and their ability to trust God, no matter how long it takes for the promise to come to fruition. During this period, the chosen one learns the most important lesson of all. Their true identity is not tied to the opinions of others, but to God's voice. The peace that comes from this realization is unmatched. It's the kind of peace that will carry them through the difficult seasons ahead, the kind of peace that will give them clarity and strength when the world's distractions try to pull them off course. As God prepares the chosen one, they develop a deep internal strength that is not swayed by the ever-changing tides of external circumstances. Their confidence is no longer rooted in how others see them, but in the security they have in their relationship with God. This internal shift is what will make them unshakable when they face the challenges and responsibilities of the role they are about to step into. The process of preparation may feel long, and the rewards may not be immediately visible, but the chosen one can trust that it is necessary. This season of hidden growth is shaping them into a leader, a guide, and a vessel for God's kingdom. The patience they are learning now will enable them to step into their divine calling with boldness, confidence, and unwavering faith when the time comes. The pressure to perform is something that many chosen ones struggle with, and it can feel overwhelming. In a world that constantly demands results, recognition, and success, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your worth by how others perceive you. For so long, you may have been driven by the desire to please others, to meet expectations, and to prove yourself worthy of love and respect. The need for validation can cloud your sense of self and make you feel like your purpose is dependent on external approval. But in the quiet moments, when you stand before God, that pressure begins to dissipate. These moments, though seemingly still, are powerful. This is when God speaks to your heart and frees you from the need to seek validation from anyone other than Him. You don't need to perform for approval. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. God's voice cuts through the noise, reminding you of your true worth, your divine calling, and your unshakable value in His eyes. Stillness is not a passive experience, but a transformative one. It is in these moments of quiet that clarity emerges. When you stop seeking approval and stop trying to fit into the mold that others have shaped for you, you begin to hear the true voice of God more clearly. His direction becomes the only voice you need to listen to. In the stillness, He reassures you that His plan for you has always been greater than the plans others have for you. You are not called to conform to the world's standards, but to align with God's purpose for your life. As you begin to understand the value of this stillness, you will find that your actions no longer come from a place of reaction, but from a place of peace. When you move in obedience to God's guidance, your steps are not hurried or pressured. They are deliberate, peaceful, and confident. God's guidance leads you to decisive actions, but these actions are always in alignment with His peace. You don't need to respond to external pressures or opinions. The peace of God is the anchor that keeps you grounded, even when the world around you may try to rush you into a reaction. One of the most profound aspects of the clarity that comes with this stillness is that it strengthens your resolve. As you grow in clarity, you begin to realize that you are not swayed by the opinions of others. The pressure to prove yourself no longer has a hold on you. Instead, you are anchored in the truth that your value is not based on what others think or say, but on what God has already declared about you. Your identity is secure in Him, and this knowledge empowers you to move forward with confidence and courage. In the past, you may have been driven by the fear of rejection or the fear of being overlooked. The desire to please others may have dictated many of your choices, but now, as you stand in the stillness of God's presence, you realize that true strength comes from the clarity of His voice. You no longer need to perform or seek validation. You are free to walk in the direction God has called you to, knowing that His approval is all that matters. This clarity gives you the freedom to live out your calling authentically, without the weight of external expectations. You can move forward in faith, trusting that God has equipped you with everything you need for the journey ahead. You can step into your purpose, not to prove yourself to anyone, but to fulfill the divine assignment that has been set before you. The stillness that you are embracing is not just a moment of peace, but a moment of empowerment. It's where you are reminded of your worth, your purpose, and the deep love God has for you. As you step out of the pressure to perform and into the clarity of His will, you are stepping into a new season of peace, strength, and unwavering confidence. You no longer need to seek validation from others because you already have the approval of the one who matters most. In this moment of divine invitation, God is not just calling you to listen, but to respond. Just as Samuel responded to God's call with, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. You are being called to answer God's voice with an open heart. It's a call not only to hear His words, but to embrace them, to step into what He is about to reveal, and to respond with faith, trust, and obedience. This is not a call for you to just passively listen, but a call to actively engage in what God is doing in your life. The moment He speaks, it's an invitation for you to align yourself with His will, for He has something specific to reveal to you. The moment of quiet invitation is sacred and powerful, and it is in that moment that you must choose whether to respond. Your willingness to listen and to obey is the key that opens the door to God's greater plans for your life. In these quiet moments of God's call, obedience becomes a powerful catalyst. The decisions you make in the stillness and the moments of solitude prepare you to act decisively when the time comes. Just like a musician listens carefully before playing, so too does your obedience in the quiet moments prepare you to move with confidence when God calls you to take action. It's in these quiet spaces that your trust in God's voice is nurtured. It's here that you learn to trust that His voice will lead you, even when you cannot see the entire picture ahead. This quiet obedience doesn't require you to have all the answers or even understand every detail. God doesn't always show us the full plan ahead of time. He often asks us to trust Him with what we do know and step forward in faith with what we don't. Trusting God's timing is an essential part of this process. You might not see the entire path laid out before you, but you are asked to take the next step, knowing that God is leading you in perfect timing. Trusting God's timing isn't always easy. There are moments when things feel uncertain and the waiting period seems like it will never end. But in this time, God is preparing you. Every moment of waiting, every time you lean into His presence, and every time you listen with an open heart, you are being molded and shaped into the person who is ready to embrace the calling that lies ahead. God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't make sense to us. When you trust Him, you are learning to depend on His wisdom, His understanding, and His perfect plan for your life. Every moment of waiting, every moment of stillness, and every moment where you choose obedience is a part of God's larger purpose for you. As you wait, you are not just passive in the process, you are actively building trust in God's ability to guide you. The quiet moments are often the ones where you build the deepest trust. When you choose to listen and obey, even when the path is unclear, you are creating a foundation of faith that will carry you through the challenges ahead. There will be times when God's timing doesn't seem to match our expectations. You may question why things are taking longer than anticipated, or why certain doors seem to be closed. But rest assured, in those times of uncertainty, God is working. His plan is unfolding, and He is preparing you in ways you may not even realize yet. The waiting is not in vain. It is part of His divine plan, shaping you into the person you need to be to fulfill the purpose He has for you. This invitation to listen and respond is not just about receiving words, it is about responding with action. God is calling you to move in His timing, to follow His guidance, and to trust that He knows the best path for you. You are being invited to embrace the trust and the obedience that will allow you to step boldly into the next chapter of your journey. In the quiet obedience of listening and trusting, you are preparing yourself to receive all that God has in store for you. The waiting will not last forever. In due time, you will see the manifestation of His promises, and you will be ready to walk in them, knowing that you have been prepared by every moment of listening, every moment of trust, and every moment of obedience. Now is your time to listen, respond, and step into the fullness of what God has planned for you. In the quiet moments when God calls you to retreat from the distractions of the world, these are not moments of wasted time, but sacred periods of preparation. These private moments are often difficult to comprehend in their fullness, yet they are the foundation for the impact you are destined to have in the world. The world will see your influence, but the preparation for it happens in the private spaces, hidden from the public eye. where God shapes and refines you. It is in these personal moments with God that you are being equipped for what lies ahead. God often chooses to work privately before elevating someone to public influence. When He calls you into this hidden season, He's not doing so to isolate you or punish you. He's preparing you for something much greater. The time you spend with God, away from the noise and expectations of others, is crucial to your growth. These times of reflection and quiet communion with the divine are not only meant for personal growth, but for shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of the purpose that God has for you. God's preparation often involves testing, molding, and refining in private spaces because He wants to equip you for what He has already planned for you in the public arena. God is doing a work within you that is unseen, but it is necessary for your future. What may seem like a period of waiting, reflection, or isolation is, in reality, a time when God is planting seeds of wisdom and clarity that will soon sprout into a fruitful harvest. The personal revelations you're receiving, the lessons that seem to unfold in solitude, are not mere coincidences or distractions. They are divine instructions that will prepare you for the assignments ahead. These private moments with God are a sanctification process where you learn to trust Him more deeply, grow in wisdom, and receive insight into the unique path He is leading you down. Trust in this process. It's easy to question the importance of these private moments when you're not seeing immediate results or when the world around you seems to be moving forward faster. You may feel the pull to jump into action or to rush toward the outcomes you're hoping for, but know that God's timing is perfect. His work in the private moments is not only essential for your own growth, but also for the impact you will have on others in the future. The work you're doing in your private relationship with God will overflow into your public life when the time is right. When God is ready to use you in powerful ways, you'll be equipped with the wisdom and clarity you need because of what you learned in those quiet, private moments with Him. You are being prepared for something that is greater than what you can currently see. The private moments with God are not wasted. The prayers, the study, the quiet listening, and the discernment are all being woven together into the tapestry of your divine purpose. This period of instruction might feel like it's isolated or uncertain, but in reality, it is the most significant part of the preparation process. God's work in the private spaces always leads to greater public impact, and when the time comes for you to step into that role, you will carry the weight of it with grace and authority because of the work that has already been done in you. It's important for you to respond to God with trust during this time. Trust in the process, trust in the lessons, and trust in the fact that this time of private instruction will lead to something beyond your imagination. God is not giving you instruction to hold you back or make you stagnant. He's preparing you for a great purpose. The more you embrace this season, the more you will understand how it is shaping you for a divine calling. Trust that God knows what He is doing. He sees the bigger picture, and while you may not see the end result just yet, He is working in your life in ways that will ultimately bring clarity, purpose, and fulfillment. Know that this time with God is not about immediate recognition or fame. It is about building an intimate relationship with your Creator, learning to hear His voice, and understanding His will. Through your obedience, patience, and trust, God is molding you into a vessel that can carry the weight of His divine purpose. When the time comes for your public assignment, you will walk into it fully equipped, empowered, and with a deep understanding of your role in His kingdom. Embrace the process of private instruction, knowing that it will lead to something far greater than you could have imagined. God is preparing you for a purpose that will bring light and transformation to those around you. Be patient, trust His timing, and embrace the growth that is happening in the quiet moments of your relationship with Him. When the time comes, you will step into your divine role with confidence, clarity, and an understanding of the great work God has been doing in you all along.